Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk Network here. This channel, specifically Serious Wrestling Rambles, is not an episode. This is an interview. Episode will be tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central, same time, same place, as always. Today, I am doing my first ever interview, as you can see by the title of this video. First ever interview with a professional wrestler of any type, and I am honored enough and very rich to have Axel Carter, part of NC Wrestling in the United Kingdom, in Britain. It's great to have him on the show. Let's welcome Alex. Hi, Axel. How are you doing this afternoon or morning here locally? In the States, and I'm sure the late afternoon there. Actually, you there?
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm all good. Yeah, like you said, it's 3 o'clock. I'd just like to say thank you for having me on the show. It's a real pleasure.
Well, it's a pleasure all mine to have you on. And first, I guess, firstly, to get off the gate starting, welcome to introduce yourself to most of the wrestling audience, especially people that watch my show are WWE exclusive watching. I barely talk about other promotions, whether indie promotions or otherwise, around the United States or the world. So introduce yourself, companies you've been part of, and anything else that you wish to share to the audience of who you are and what you've been doing.
Okay. Well, my name's Axel Carter. I've been wrestling now for almost 4 years. But I started training back in 2010, so I've been around it quite a long time. I'm from Bristol in England, which is about 2 hours from London, which is going to be the easiest place to put it near. Well, I'm close to Wales, if anyone's heard of Wales, but I'm up and down the country at the moment, just making a name for myself and just wrestling everywhere, and coming over to the States for a couple of weeks at a time, and I think I'm going to head over there about 3 times. So the first one is on the West Coast, and then the 2 other tours will be East Coast. So as soon as that gets all confirmed, I will be dropping it on my Twitter, on my Facebook. If anyone ever tweets me, I'll always try and get back to them. So don't be afraid to hit me up on there. I'm very active, or on my Facebook. But yeah, that's pretty much it about me. I'm nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. But I'm trying to not be vanilla. I'm not your average wrestler. I'm very old school. WWE, WWF, love that. Not a huge fan of Japanese or Mexican wrestling. I will, if it's available to watch, I will watch it, but it's not my go-to thing. It's always WWE, I guess, because they're just the main player in the whole game at the moment.
True. Then there is that other company that's been crawling and scratching and surviving. TNA, or now Impact Wrestling,
Uh-huh.
here in the States as well. Certainly, company to keep your eye on. One
I
that
will. Yeah, I will watch TNA. TNA's good. And are you familiar with Mark Andrews?
yes, sir.
That was in TNA. Yeah. Well, I've been with him on shows, and he's not too far away from me. He's in Wales, and I used to train. I've trained once at the school, and he's always been around. He's been on shows and stuff like that. So yeah, he's a real good guy. Rockstar Spud, I remember watching him when I first started training and thought that guy's good, and then he got lapped up by TNA, and he's doing quite well there.
The guy sure has a lot of spunk and charisma, that's for sure.
Yeah.
At least from me seeing it, obviously, as a wrestling fan and not knowing him.
Yeah, he was a crazy guy. I remember seeing him and thinking, wow, he's something different, because he's obviously not built like a huge jacked up wrestler, and then he just has that charisma which takes him up too many levels. That's absolutely crazy, and you think, wow.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've watched professional wrestling, WWE and WCW, when I was a child. because I was a '90s
Mhm.
kid, kid in the '90s, and that was the go-tos, with the Monday Night Wars and everything. And
Yeah.
I was one of those kids, whether right or wrong, probably morally wrong, that did wrestling in my house or with
Yeah.
my friends and whatever. Not to the extreme of backyard wrestling and stuff, but still, doing more than maybe I should have and stuff like that. So I wanted to be a wrestler,
Uh-huh.
but as people can see and as people have seen me here on camera, I don't have that. I don't have the physique for it. If anything, having the gift of gab, the talk, doing these podcasts and other things, and maybe the other side of it, the true entertainment side of it, at least in my eyes, um, announcing or hosting or something like that could be
Sure.
in the future. So I've actually looked into Full Sail University where they have NXT and everything for
Uh-huh.
broadcasting and getting into professional wrestling in that way, because as much as I would want to be a wrestler and all that other stuff, I kind of adhere to the fact that I don't think that will be in the cards. But on the other way, maybe so. But definitely for others that,
Never say no.
well, no, it's not like never say never. But you gotta go where your strengths are, right? Where your strengths are
Exactly.
more than your
If you
negatives.
want to do something and you have a passion for it, always go for it.
That's what I'm doing here with broadcasting and my podcast hosting. That's for sure. So.
Mm.
But I guess in general, what would you have advice for listeners out there that are wanting to be wrestlers specifically and have that dream and never giving up and never say die attitude? And what would you say your biggest advice is to them and them wanting to be a pro wrestler?
Uh, if you want to be a pro wrestler and you have the dream, you have the passion, go for it. Find a good school with a good trainer. Look at the trainer, see what he's done, see what they've done in their career, and don't just go to the first person you see. Um, simply because you can find someone that's good, that's cheap, but might not be as good as someone that's 30 minutes down the road. I know it was like that with me. I looked at different schools. I thought about going to one. I looked at the price and I thought, oh, it's cheaper. Then I found another one which was outstanding, which was a lot more,
Right.
but the backing of it was so good. So I thought, well, I'll try that one. It's a lot more money, but you get what you pay for. And yeah, just keep it rolling, keep going, don't stop. Just keep the passion rolling, really. I know I fell out with it at times. I kept getting frustrated that I couldn't do stuff and I wasn't progressing with the same speed that everyone else was, and I get stuff that people wouldn't, and they get stuff that I couldn't get. And you just got to keep going, fight through all the negativity that comes with it, because there is days where you're hurting, you get up and you think, oh man, do I really have to go to wrestling training today? Do I really have to do it? Can I just stay in bed? But then when you drag yourself out of it, you get there and you're doing it. And think of the long run. Always think of it. I know. I always see the WrestleMania adverts. When they have
Hmm.
from the previous years and they got the song on, and you just think, if I keep working, that could be me one day. And then I know I watch WrestleMania, and then sometimes I've had goosebumps and stuff, just like of how the crowd is, and it just think of it in the long run. If WWE is not your thing, if you want to go to Ring of Honor, if you just want to wrestle just for fun, if you just wanted to do it for fun, just for the athleticism, just go for it. Just think of your long term and think about hitting that goal, and don't look back.
Exactly. That's the greatest advice, really, for anything, whether it's professional or any job or career that a person may be interested in. Always look at what your end game is, what your main goal is, where you want to be,
Sure.
and I always think of that, whether with bad days and the good days, obviously mixed in. That
Mm.
you want to get to there, and you're not going to stop until you get to that point where I can, as of right now, see that with with the journalism and here being a podcast host. See people getting over it, wondering, oh, why isn't I getting as many views as these people or this or that? You got to stay by yourself.
Yeah.
Don't change because you feel like you have to change. Don't be something that maybe the other person has why they're getting the views, but just stay yourself and
Yep.
you'll find your niche. You'll find your core fan base. And as a wrestler, obviously in a different
Exactly.
way, you find what character works for you, and you find where and what you really want to be as a wrestler, and then you work hard in training, and then at some point someone will pick you up, someone will give you that shot because they see the real you inside of your character. Like they see your passion, they see that you love what you do, you love the business, and they'll see it more within than actually outward, sort of thing. If you understand where I'm going there, that
Exactly.
it's just something that it's one of those, make them see you, make them want you, make
Uh-huh.
them come to you, sort of thing. And that's kind of the mantra I've had starting with my podcast 6 years ago. Get to a point where it's not you contacting people or things or whatever, that they're contacting you to be part of your show.
Exactly.
So get
And
to
um I learned the value of hard work by working hard.
same here, yes sir. But for your journey as a wrestler, where did it start out, and I guess the ebbs and flows of your career, starting from where you started? How did you get started, and how do you get to where you got now?
Well, how did I start? I actually found wrestling through a friend, and I didn't like it to start with.
Hmm.
There's you can go on holiday in the UK to a place called Butlins, and they have free entertainment there,
Hmm.
and they have a wrestling show there as free entertainment. And my friend said, come on, we'll watch it, we'll watch it." And I went, it's not really my thing because I thought it was just like boxing, and never been a fan of boxing, so I was kind of skeptical about it to start with. And I was, shall I go? Shall I not? And they ended up dragging me along, and the first guy came out to the ring, and I thought, "Oh, okay, this is not too bad." The second guy came out to the ring, everyone's going crazy. I'm like, wow, this is actually quite cool. They had their match, and I was hooked, sold, hook, line, and sinker. I was, and then from then, all I wanted to do was wrestle. All I ever wanted to be was a wrestler. When people said, "Well, what do you want to do when you're older?" Wrestler. Well, no, come on. What do you really want to do? Well, I want to be a wrestler. Well, you need to think of something else. You need to. No. I want to be a wrestler. So, and that just continued. I begged and pleaded my parents to buy a Sky Sports package so I could stay and watch Raw. I think the first ever WWE episode I watched was in a local live center. They had ECW on, and everyone wanted to change it to the football or the soccer.
Hmm.
And I was begging them. I was saying, no, please leave it on ECW. I just want to see what happens with CM Punk and someone else. And but that was the new ECW they brought to the WWE. And I was just everything. I buying DVDs, the games, everything. No, the magazines. I used to have the three magazines that I could find in my local shop, and I used to buy the big one, and then I had a small one, and then there was like it was just lots of pictures in one, and I used to love it. Just every week I'd find a new magazine to read, um, and I kept watching videos of like um, local wrestling. I had no idea that it was in my hometown or near my hometown, and one day we saw an advert for a show. Um, and we thought, oh well, we'll go along. We'll see what it's like. It's probably not going to be WWE like style, but we'll see what it's like. We ended up going, absolutely phenomenal because the free entertainment's a very basic show, and this show we went to was absolutely incredible. And the promotion's called Forefront Wrestling, and that was over 6 7 years ago now. I watched that, and the start of this month I made my debut for them, so it was like a real high on the way home from that show. That the first ever watched, I managed to debut and get on for them, so it was good. And that's who I first started training with. And Forefront Wrestling, they were based in Swindon. They still are now, so if there's anyone UK watching it and you want a good school to go to, Forefront Wrestling, they're doing wrestling training in Bristol and in Swindon at the moment. So I'd recommend them. There's also the Al Snow Wrestling Academy that's in the UK as well, so that's another good one to look out for. But I've tried to get around so I'm not just training in the same place because there's so many different styles that you can learn and everyone teaches differently. So I've tried to be vast and far with it and get out as much as I can from it. And then I made my debut in late 2012, early 2013. I can't remember exactly
Hmm.
the date, but it's just continued from there. I've had hundreds of matches, from singles matches to tag team matches to cage matches to street fights to tables matches, and it can only go up. Can only go up and carry on.
That's for sure. Out of all those hundreds of matches and those type of matches and gimmick matches you've been a part of, do you have a favorite one you've been a part of?
Oh, haha. uh, that is a good question. I've liked every match that I've been in. I've never
Right.
gone out there dreading the match or come back and gone, oh, that was the rubbish. Because if you have the passion, even if it's not the greatest match, you can always learn from a bad match. Uh, uh, so many matches I could. Uh, gee, I can't choose. Um,
Would you be able to choose to top four or still no?
the 4FW debut at the start of this month was definitely on top of one matches I've had, just because I've ticked off a promotion that I've always wanted to work for,
Mhm.
and I ever saw. Um, I had a really good tag team cage match, which was really fun. Uh, that was with Slam Wrestling, and all my matches with Exposure Entertainment in the UK and Wales, they've all been really fun. I had a tables match which was good, and then recently I had a it was just a house show, but the match we had, it went so well. Everyone was really behind it, and you just come back and it's just like, wow, that was a good match. I really enjoyed that. And it's best you always in your head you think low of your match. Well, in my head I do. I think low of my match, and then when people come up and say, "Wow, that was really good," you're like, "Oh, okay, that's not too bad," because you think, "Oh, I could have done this. This could have been better. If I'd done that, it would have done this." And when people come up and say, "Wow, that was really good," you're like, "Oh, okay, I don't doubt myself as much now."
I understand that completely because I'm the same way there actually, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
For in my side of it here with as a host and doing podcasts, like each and every time I either rewatch or I think after it's over, did I do good or did I forget to bring this up or whatever or ask this question or I probably will be doing the same thing after this interview. Did I do it right or always question myself until somebody
absolutely.
tweets me or DMs me or something and lets me know, hey, great job or something. Then okay, then I validate that I'm actually know what I'm doing, sort of thing. So everything I do, um, whether it's this first interview or my podcast episodes each and every week, I'm always second guessing, thinking I could have done better, and I'm always wanting to do better, and have
Yeah.
better things to show and stuff like that. Just like for you in wrestling and for your matches.
Yeah, exactly. And the best feeling is like you can have loads of people backstage telling you it was the greatest show. You could have your opponent come up to you and say that was a good match. But when you have the people that you're performing to come up to you and say that was a good match, that's who we're doing it for in total. So for them to come up and say it's a good match and have people asking for your autograph and stuff, that kind of just that's the icing on the cake of it.
Oh, for sure. Excuse me. Who? Just next question. Who were your influences to get into wrestling? Like, who were your favorite wrestlers? And who did you see that you wanted to be through your character? Like, who being your influence for your character, or influences in general get you into wrestling?
Sure. In no particular order, I've got a few wrestlers that I will it'll be my go-to wrestlers to watch. I was always a fan of Hulk Hogan just because of his presence and his just what he was in wrestling, how how big he was in wrestling, how he made wrestling. Um, but Owen Hart as well. I always thought he was just really underrated as a wrestler. I think he could have done a lot more than he did. Um, one of my favorite matches was him and Brett at WrestleMania. I thought that was a great match. Um, and just his, you could there's guys that go out there and you see them and they're there and they don't look like they have the passion. They obviously do, but then Brett and Owen were always the two guys that you see and you're like, wow, breathe, eat, slept wrestling. It was just, everything was wrestling with them. Um, so Mr. Perfect as well. He was always a big go-to to watch. Um, Shawn Michaels was my first favorite wrestler when I was growing up because they were doing the DX stuff when I first started watching it. The new DX where it was all
Right.
just make fun of Mr. McMahon and stuff like that. And I always thought that was fun. And in school, I used to be Shawn Michaels with my friend who used to want to be Triple H, and we'd always try and like mimic all the stuff they did on TV, and we'd wrestle out in the field and stuff. It was really fun. But
Yeah.
also Rip Rogers, he's another go-to guy to watch. He's the head trainer at OVW at the moment, and he was never hugely broadcast out onto like WWF or WCW, but I know he had first matches with Owen Hart, and he had some really good matches with Brian Pillman. And if you search him up on YouTube, he's got some really good matches, and just an underrated guy in total, just with his character as well, how he could go out there and do hardly anything, and people would hate him, hate his guts. And Shane Douglas as well. Shane Douglas is just another guy, which is it ticks all the boxes for me. Great promos, great in-ring work, great look, and I had the pleasure of working with him late last year, um, and hopefully again this year. And yeah, just an overall great guy. You see these characters out on TV, and you think, are they going to be like that in real life? Is he going to be the Shane Douglas that you see on TV? And when he's a really humble man that shakes your hand, offers you to buy you food, buy you drinks, and gives you all the advice that you'd ever need. It just they say never meet your heroes, but he was one of the guys that like you meet and you go, wow, he was a real good guy.
Yes. I know WWE fans do that all the time with superstars now. Like how much of them is an extension of their character, like there's that line of
Hmm.
reality and kayfabe as well, and with the social media and everything and how interaction with fans is a lot easier for the wrestlers and for the fans. So it's a good and bad, give and take in that aspect. But I know for me, even though I haven't met them yet, obviously would love to. But Stephanie McMahon and Chris Jericho, two great heels in WWE on TV, but
Yeah,
outside, it would be one of the kindest two people that you could ever meet. Chris Jericho has been helping out people with situations like former wrestlers, GoFundMe pages, and he's been showing out his
yeah,
own,
yeah. I've seen that.
like Perry Saturn most recently in his situation. Chris Jericho dumping down, I think it was $2,500 or even more to help him
Yeah,
out. And Stephanie McMahon and everything she does for the company, future CEO and owner, their husband, Paul Levesque, Triple H. Um, there's I would say those two, in my eyes, is a specific WWE fan. But I know what you're saying with your friend. For me, like I said, in the '90s, me and my best friend wrestling stuff acted like the NWO, like we were the NWO and everything
oh, okay.
as kids and everything. So when you were saying that, I was thinking of my own memories there. But that's pretty much it
Who
for
who was your favorite out of the NWO?
my favorite from the NWO was Scott Hall.
Oh, nice. Well, not that you're jealous or anything, but he was on a show that I was on, and we did a little a kind of skit at the start of the show. There was a guy that came up the show.
Hmm.
Two guys came out and started to challenge him. I heard it happening. Me sprinting down to the ring, backed up Scott Hall. He did the toothpick to their face. Then I hit him with the super kick, and he bailed out of the ring and cut a promo. There should be some. I think there's some photos on my Facebook page and on my Twitter. I'll definitely tweet them to you as well.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous. That was awesome. I
He's
know
a
we
really
were
great guy as well.
and I know we were talking about before the interview off air about Gangrel and everything. So I was jealous of you meeting him. So those two, it's pretty good company to keep. That's for sure.
Yeah. I've always stayed loyal to the companies that have helped me, because there's the two that I've been with for a while, which are Slam Wrestling and Exposure Entertainment. Slam Wrestling were the guys that gave me my break in wrestling, my debut match, and I'll always be thankful and always stay loyal to them. So if I've taken a booking with them and something bigger comes up, I'll say no, I've got them. And I'll always work for them when I can and as often as I can. And the Exposure Entertainment, everyone there has heard me to the guy in Exposure Entertainment. Not trying to blow my own horn, but people have said that I'll be the first guy in, last guy out. But it's just the passion. It's people that have seen my passion and my DNA up, because for a while would let me do my thing and promise me and promise me and promise me, and then nothing would really come of it. So hugely thankful to those two companies for seeing that passion and kind of giving me the ball and saying, go play with it and let's see what we can do with it, kind of thing. So those guys, big shout out to them.
And just to ask, since my show is Steve's Wrestling Ramble, and we specifically talk WWE, which is to ask, is your end game or is your goal at some point to be able to be in WWE, starting out in NXT and from there?
Oh, for sure. WWE is the place to go. Even if I was there for one day or an hour, I'd love it. It'd be just to say that I've done it, and to be there and doing it would be the end goal. Just that's the end goal. So if I was there for a day, got hit by a car and died, I'd die happy.
Well, for seeing your matches, because I've watched some of your matches on YouTube and other places that I've been able to find them, researching being ready for this interview. Yeah, I'd say definitely would be a good fit for WWE, even more for than just a cup of coffee and a match. And your passion and the way you can talk and your loyalty to companies and everything, I think, yeah, definitely, not only could be, should be, and probably will be in your future in the next couple of years, in my opinion. I'm sitting here from the outside looking in. And when that moment happens, like I said, I'm not going to put it as an if, I'm going to put it as a when. And when that moment happens, I'm certainly going to be proud being able to speak with you here. And then short time you being in WWE, I think that would not only, it would be great, but like I said, from hearing from you, I think it's in the cards, actually.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a humbling statement from you. I appreciate that.
Well, it's true. It's dang true. And speaking of that, in WWE, I know you've been keeping your eye on there, being WWE. Is there any one superstar that you would like to face? You are able to be in WWE, or just in general, that you like to face one-on-one? Those superstars, past or present.
Can I do a past and can I do a present?
Sure.
At the moment, Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler or The Miz? I'm not sure. They're both at the moment. I know I don't follow WWE hugely at the moment. I don't tune in every single week, but I will try and keep up. But Dolph Ziggler has just turned heel, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be good. I'd like to see what he does with that. But then The Miz as well, as a heel, he's really underrated, I think, and he's just he is a guy that has gone out there and made you hate him. Whereas he's not trying to be this cool heel that that he goes out there and is trying to get you to kind of like him, and you know, he feels to me that he's actually going out there with that drive to make you try and hate him, which is the end goal with being a heel. And the Dolph Ziggler or the Miz, just one match with them would be really cool. And then for a past superstar, wow. This is a good question. I'd have to say Shawn Michaels. I just think me and him would like complement styles, and if he ever wanted to come out of retirement, then I'll say it here first. Then just contact me, Sean, and then we can make this happen.
I actually, like I said, I've been watching rematches. I think an Axel Carter versus Kurt Angle match would be pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Can never say never to that. You know, I don't know whether Kurt signed a deal where he's wrestling, or because he's recently wrestled over in the UK a couple of days ago for What Culture Pro Wrestling.
Yes. Yeah, he had his last match against El Patron, formerly Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah. And apparently that was absolutely incredible. So maybe you can never say never.
I like to pick there for current wrestlers, especially those two, specifically Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, because they both are from the same hometown. They're both from Ohio, Cleveland specifically.
Yeah.
Ohio boys. They always, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, on their Twitter, it's always at games, Cleveland Browns or Cavaliers. So they're always outside of the ring.
And I like their storyline they had not too long ago. I thought all their matches were really good. Those guys, when you put them in a ring, they really click. And I know they've broken off, and Ziggler's he's in a storyline with um, Apollo Crews and Kalisto at the moment, and I think it was a shame. I think they could have run a long time with that Dolph Ziggler and the Miz, because I just think those guys click and they work like a well-oiled machine in the ring, and everything makes sense with what they do. It's not just move, and have everyone confused. There's a real story, which is what I was taught in wrestling. Make the story believable. Make sure that a 5-year-old could watch it, or a 105-year-old could watch it and understand what's happening, who the good guy is, who the bad guy is, and you want that good guy to win.
I just asked, were you able to watch any of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view?
I did. I watched a few of the matches. I watched the Dolph Ziggler match. I caught the end of the Mojo Rawley and the Kurt Hawkins match. I saw the tag team tournament match. That was pretty interesting. I thought that was good. They seem to be doing a lot more with these tag teams now.
Yeah, the tag team tournament match. Pretty much everybody. They put everybody from the SmackDown roster on the tag team just in one match. So that was certainly entertaining.
It was good. I thought it was good. And I saw the Nikki Bella and Natalia match, and I watched Luke Harper, Randy Orton. I thought that match was good. Luke Harper's, I think he's been out of that spotlight for a long time, and I think now that he's been put in it, it's really good. And the SmackDown Women's Championship was really good as well. And of course, I watched the Elimination Chamber.
And what were your thoughts on the main event of the Elimination Chamber and Bray Wyatt winning and becoming the new WWE champion?
I thought it was good. I'd seen a lot of people say that he was going to win, and everyone was predicting that he was going to win. But I think it was a long time coming for him, because his character is something that's not really been done well in a while. Like, no one's been able to. If someone gave another guy that ball, they couldn't run as far as Bray Wyatt's run with it, kind of thing. And I think his promos are really cool. the kind of the the eeriness of it, that he almost, if you saw him out in the street, you'd think, oh wow, this is a guy I need to avoid, kind of thing. And he's really all out with it and stuff. So I thought it was really good. I with that. I'm never that doesn't like the endings of matches and complains that they should have done this, and like I wouldn't say that, oh, AJ Styles should have won, or The Miz should have won, or John Cena should have retained, or Dean Ambrose or Baron Corbin. I just like to see what they do with it, because in all, I'm still a fan, and I like to see what they do with it. And I don't like to try and comment on what they are, because they know what they're doing a lot more than I would. So
Yeah, same here. I mean, it's a business to talk about it, but I understand what you're saying, especially for you and your aspect, being in there, being a wrestler. Knowing what they go through to create a character, be that character, and saying that character as much as you can, and be able to put on the shows, and like I said, not really mattering as a fan, watching, especially like I said in your aspect, watching and seeing what they're doing in their storytelling and everything. Even watching it with keen eye, so to speak, than your average fans, because you know exactly the way what they're doing, what they're supposed to be doing, and all this other stuff that you just admire and respect the match itself, than worrying about who won or who lost.
Sure.
Oh well,
and I think that's what.
Go ahead.
I think that's what a lot of people need to almost. There's a lot of people that have kind of stepped up and they complain all the time, and they say, "Oh, they should have been this, it should have been that." But I just remember watching it back when I was 6, 7 years old, and thinking, and just what's going to happen, and how's this going to affect that, and oh man, and just like being still in love with it. And I think people try and analyze stuff too much now, and they try and think that something should have gone one way, when if they just watched it for the content that it is, I think they'd enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, and I think, like I was talking about earlier, it is of this era, this age of technology and all the social media things, Twitter, Facebook, and other stuff,
Sure.
that fans they think they know more, and they're smarks, or marks as they're called, the ICW, whatever you want to call it, the internet wrestling community, and such, that, and I'm sure I've fallen into it myself. I try not to, but that you just get so much information, or you think you have, whether they're actual news or just BS stories, that news or rumors, and that you think you know more, and then you overanalyze because you're overthinking it. You're overworking your mind about a character or a storyline or a match, even as we're discussing with the Elimination Chamber. That we get so much into it, thinking we're trying to outsmart WWE and trying to book their shows for them, and how we would have done it, and this stuff and that stuff. And because I know there's some YouTubers that have specific videos for their channel that's let's just say Tyler's Booking or something like that, how they would book Elimination Chamber, and WWE do it better, or I dare you to do it, sort of things, that sort of thing. Sometimes, honestly, as a nice guy I am, it even makes me roll my eyes and wonder why.
Yeah, it's almost like they're there to try and belittle the company and say, "Oh, I could do it better." And it's a shame. I think there's always going to be people that are like that, but as long as the majority of the people watch it and enjoy it for what it is, I think it will continue to go on the up. I know it had its kind of dip in it, and it's not. I don't know what the ratings are at the moment. I haven't looked for a while, but I think they are doing good stuff with it. What did you think to the new Elimination Chamber as well?
As I said, because I did actually get a live reaction to the main event, and me and my guest Josh, that was on at Chief Josh Show on Twitter. I said that it looked certainly interesting, and I thought that the way that they had the pause, it reminded me, and I even said this live on air, so I'm not saying it because you're here, but I even said it live on air. It reminded me of British phone booths being put in a WWE chamber. Just the way that it was set up in like a square there. It's like remind me of British phone booths because I've seen them in movies like Parent Trap and other
Yeah,
things. And it was like, wow, hey, look at that. Jolly old England has been part of the Elimination Chamber. So that's the first thing I thought of, which, I know people from England. I know a couple of YouTubers actually as well that are from England. Rosie and Rose, popular ones here on YouTube from London.
okay.
But that was the first thing I thought of. Then they have the padded stuff instead of actual, um, tail or whatever
Yeah,
in the bottom, so they actually have it padded there. I thought that was certainly interesting. Hey, safer. It is 2017 now. It is a little bit compact. I liked me as a visual person. I like the top of it with the WWE logo there,
yeah, I thought that was really cool. I thought that looked smart.
and how they did it when they counted down and then had the at airports, the landing strip areas, light it up like that, for when
Yeah, that looked
superstar was
really
picked.
cool.
Like I said, that's me. I'm a visual person, so just seeing those kind of things, I liked how the new look chamber actually looked and how the match went in itself.
I thought it looked smart. I did think it looked very crisp, and the height of it seemed to be a lot taller than last time. But yeah, I like the big logo on the top, and the bird's eye view of it looked really cool as um when they got selected to come in. I thought it was all really cool that it lit up and stuff like that. I thought overall it was a really good pay per view. It was a strong pay per view. I think SmackDown is definitely the strongest brand out of them now, just because of the content they're putting out. I think they're doing it all right.
Yeah, I was every see, so that's SmackDown needed. They needed the brand split. They needed to be live. I think because before then they were taped. People that just check on spoilers like I did, and see there's only a few things that maybe I want to see. So I'll watch this opening segment because there's going to be a Seth Rollins Triple H promo segment, and then maybe not watch the rest or something. Now with it being live
Sure.
and each storyline being interesting and entertaining me personally, that I'm watching it each and every week, not just for my show, but for as a fan and entertainment and enjoying it more so. So I think for SmackDown specifically now being SmackDown Live, that being live and being 2 hours as well, and with the brand extension, I think really did SmackDown and made SmackDown great again. To be quite honest, it just made it better, made it what it used to be in a way. Obviously, you're not going to get back to where it was with The Rock and Triple H and whatever, but as it is now in the new era, being as great in a way like the old era, with obviously new era superstar do and new era stuff. I really am glad that they did this, and I'm glad that it seems like they're really creative. WWE themselves obviously are focused on SmackDown to be the bigger brand, to be almost in a way almost like the number one brand. Even though if you looked at the rosters when the draft happened, Raw beat SmackDown in that way, just on talent wise, on who they had on the Raw brand and the
Sure.
SmackDown brand. But on the booking of SmackDown being better than Raw, made it then come even closer um, to Raw overall. You're still going to get your biggest moments on
Exactly.
Raw, in my opinion, but SmackDown overall in an entire show in 2 hours is going to be, I hate to say it this way, but booked better.
Yeah.
But certainly glad that they went down that road. But for on my end, I'm then asking you questions. If you have any other questions or anything to ask me, I do like to make this a two-way street. Um, Fire away. I'm an open book. I can answer anything.
Sweet. Okay. Well, I'll bounce some questions at you as and when they come
Okay.
up, and we'll get the both opinions of that.
Yeah. But yeah, WWE, TNA, all those wrestling promotions, being out there and all those things. Like for me, you were talking about, when I asked you about wrestlers that inspire you. For me, that inspired me were when I was younger, were the Rock and Austin, even Jericho and Triple H to an extent, and now being in the media, doing my podcast, I look more to Renee Young and Michael Cole and JBL as well in commentary, and who I might
Sure.
want to be or try to get up to that point. Corey Graves has been awesome since he came to NXT. First,
Yeah.
he was a wrestler, then he had his career ending injury and everything. And as a commentator, as a heel commentator, just kicking butt, as a heel commentator now going to exclusively now being on the Raw brand and everything. So that being my
Yeah.
aspirations in my general, that's certainly something that I've looked to. And I would, if I had to pick one out of all of them, I'd probably say Renee Young, where she was then,
Okay.
how she got to her point, how she got to WWE overall. I mean, interviews that I've seen that she's done. Um, just her journey, and then how she took that ball and ran with it when she came to WWE, and just being the best, not just best woman commentator, interviewer, that type. Just overall being number one, and Corey Graves right behind her.
Sure.
I think WWE has done a very good
No, I
job of
think
their talent in that way.
yeah, exactly. I think the whole thing with it now is if they give you that ball to run with, just go for it. Run as fast and as hard and just keep going with it. And I think that's what a lot of the guys there are doing now and the girls there are doing now. They're just getting that that platform to be what they can be, which is really good. And you could just see the. I think it's cool now that they're bringing in people from American football, from soccer, from dance, and all that, and just bringing it all together as one big show. And there's something that the guy from American football that will bring, then a dancer could bring, which is just it's so many different levels now, but it's just crazy. And in all of I don't think anything bad of wrestling because I like wrestling in total, and I'll never say that it's bad or whatever. There, you can have weak wrestling, which is like say if you go to a local show and it's not as great as WWE, maybe because
Right.
the talent's not trained or the overall production's not great. But wrestling in total is just it's on the up again because I know, especially in the UK, it had it was the huge boom of wrestling, and then it died for a good few years, and now it's on this huge rise now. Someone's really lit a fire, and it's all picking back up again.
Well, yeah, that's it for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where it has the ebb and flow of wrestling and its fandoms, especially the eras and everything, and superstars and what will gravitate someone to get into wrestling as a fan or otherwise, and everything like that. I mean, WrestleMania is on the corner on the road to WrestleMania Fastlane, coming up in my hometown, in my area, in Milwaukee, at the BMO Harris Bradley Center. Excuse me. There are a lot of wrestling promotions, like you were talking about earlier, about What Causes Wrestling and there's Pro, and there's some others. Have you been in contact or been able, would like to be working with them, being the next step up, working with companies like that there locally in your area?
Sure, I'd love to work for What Culture Pro Wrestling. I think they're a huge company now in the UK in such a short space of time as well. Um, but there's a few there's Rev Pro as well that are a really good company. Hope Wrestling as well, and then I'd love to work for All Star Wrestling, which was the show that I first got taken to see. The holiday camp style show, just because it would be cool to work for the company that I first saw a show from. It wasn't the first paid show that I saw,
Mhm.
but it was the first show that I saw, the first I had.
See, I've been a wrestling fan all my life. I'm 28 now, soon to be 29 here in a couple of months, and I've unfortunately never been able to be at any pro wrestling, whether just WWE or otherwise, my whole life. Um, Trying to get me and my team to go to WrestleMania, but beyond that, just haven't been able to. Which is when I tell people that, whether on Twitter or on my shows, people are like, "Really? Not at all? Not even a live event where you can get tickets for $20?" No, I haven't. Sometimes it's timing, situations. More so when I was younger, because some of my family members weren't wrestling fans, so they didn't want me to go to things, to go to these events.
Sure.
They think it was corrupting me or something. Um, and yeah, whatever the reason it was, I understand. I mean, they're the parents. But that time, that was the situation. Then as I got older, money issues, and I was in the service and the United States military, and I just wasn't obviously able because I was doing that. And then afterwards, and just being home, being here, family, and doing things, so just I've been able to go to an event ever. So and at any time, whether it's a house show, Raw, or SmackDown, pay per view, whatever, wherever, however, it's just hasn't been in my cards yet. So that's why I'm trying to make WrestleMania 33 my first event, because why not make your first one of the best ones, best shows that WWE gives, being the big show, being WrestleMania, which, by the way, Big Show will probably be featuring Shaquille O'Neal at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I saw that. How good is Big Show looking?
I know he's looking ripped. I saw his last post on Twitter.
He's got abs.
Got abs for
I
days.
think that would be an interesting match. See how they how and what they do with that.
I know Big Show years ago he did a sumo wrestling match at WrestleMania, and then he did a boxing match with Floyd Money Mayweather. So he's always the one doing these things with the outsiders, so to speak, outsiders of WWE fans or entertainment.
And it speaks well of how they think of him to trust him with people that are not from WWE and are not, they haven't been accustomed to wrestling. So people may say, "Oh, is bad that he has to do all this stuff," but in my opinion, if I got given that opportunity to do stuff with Floyd Mayweather, I'd be really proud, because then it shows that the company that they can put him with someone that's not a wrestler, that has probably had limited training and on the biggest stage.
So you say you're coming to the United States first on the West Coast, then where else will you be? Or unless it's not all fully planned, will you be when you come to the States? Have you ever been?
Sure. So I know around July I will be over on the West Coast. I still got to confirm all the dates and all the promotions. So when they are all confirmed, I will they'll drop on my Twitter, and then later on in the year I will hopefully be over in the Pittsburgh area, and then Indiana. OVW. Have you heard of OVW?
Yes, sir.
I'm in contact with a guy that's worked for them, and hopefully I should be working with them on something. So as soon as it's confirmed, it'll drop, and then later on in the year, I should be over in Florida.
Ooh, awesome! Sunny Florida. Never a bad thing to be in Florida at any time of the year, to be quite honest. But it's cool because you were saying Indiana. My fellow co-host for the other wrestling show that I'm part of, Talking WWE with Jay here on YouTube. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana. So I'm definitely gonna have to. Well, I will. Obviously, I'll retweet all your locations for all my fans to know that are nationwide. But specifically for him, because he's a Midwest guy there in Indianapolis, and then the host of the show, Jay himself, is from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am from central Wisconsin. So I'll definitely be looking out. If Indianapolis is the closest that you are from my state, then maybe I might be taking a drive.
Sure. Well, I've still got a few dates to fill up, so if I can find stuff over in that area, then I'm open to everything. So it's there's I think 3 more dates that I need to fill and get confirmed, and then I can drop all the stuff for my second tour over there.
See, and this is how Facebook and Twitter is a beautiful thing, promoting your thing, showing things, being able to tweet it out and being for the world, like we talk about bad things and stuff like that. This is the good sign, for sure.
Exactly, and I've met some really good people through social media. I've been able to get myself out there a lot more with the help of social media, so it's always really cool, social media. I've never, like you said, there are the bad sides to it, but then they're the really good sides.
Right, that's for sure. I know I see it all the time. I've seen, let's say, 90% to 10% for for my podcast and my stuff. Because for me, I have 4 Twitter handles that I manage on Twitter. I have my wrestling show, my American football, my NFL show, my personal Twitter handle, and then I also have my politics one where I talk national and local politics. So I'm a busy bee. I'm always on something. Even my Facebook fan groups, so I'm understanding the positive and negatives and enjoying the positives tenfold, being able to promote things, share things, tweet specifically at people if I want them to check them out, sort of things. So it's always or seems like it is always a great tool to use.
Exactly. And it's like they say, it's the power of social media nowadays. That's where most of it is at the moment, and I think it's where it's going to stay for a while.
Oh yeah, that's sure. If anything's going to be going away, it might be Facebook, but that's still a long ways away.
Exactly, that's going to be
still going strong. But then again, they said the same thing about MySpace, and know where that went.
Do people still use MySpace?
I think I technically still have an account there. I don't know. I don't even know my login information anymore, so I wouldn't even be able to get on if I tried.
Oh man, I remember MySpace.
Yeah, I remember back when it was cool and hip to be on there.
Yeah, and now there's probably like, is it still going or?
I think technically it is. I haven't obviously even checked if it's been deleted itself, but
No, I was going to say I'm not sure.
I'm always apprehensive.
But then Vine.
Yeah, Vine.
Vine as well. That's all stopped now, which was a shame. I found Vine funny and stuff like that.
Then they have the Snapchat, pretty much like Vine. Snapchat being easier for people with their smartphones.
Yeah.
Like for me, I have all accounts. I have Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. I have Instagram, but I don't have Snapchat. And the only reason I don't have Snapchat is because I don't have a smartphone. I have an old style phone, flip phone, kind of, or actually more a sliding phone, but still old style. But I don't have that. If I did, I would be on then everything. Because again, with social media, promoting shows, bringing up that I have something coming out of the blue, like even to be quite honest here in this interview, something that's just coming up, promote it, let people know about it, and then do a snap story or whatever it's called, a quick chat or whatever there on Snapchat, whatever that's called, storyboard or whatever it is, and do that. So certainly the power of social media has the world by the throat, and made people for good or bad reasons, addicted to it or enjoyed and using it the correct way. If you use it the correct way, these social media accounts can definitely be an asset for you.
Exactly. Yeah, and you're always going to have the people that are using it for the wrong reasons and that try and get on there and be funny by belittling people. And as long as you just ignore that side of it, you'll be good. And that's the thing with everything. Like, if there's a guy you don't like, or there's someone that's not, the nicest approach, just stay away from it. And if you stay away from it and stay on the positive side of everything, then everything and your outlook's going to be positive. Let them stay in the negative with it, and then your outlook will always be positive.
Well, for my life, I always go by the aspect of treat others as you want to be treated, and also
exactly
everything happens for a reason. Everything, whether positive or negative, whether for your wrestling career or for me in a broadcasting career of wanting to be that. There's positive and negatives, there's good and bads, but everything that happens for your life happens for a reason, a rhyme reason. Even the little things that you think don't have anything to do with it, or don't have anything to do with your time stream of a career or a love life or whatever things, it does. And as I said, every little thing happens for a reason. That's why for me, I like those criminal solving shows or whatever. Like there was one that's called Who Done It, and there's games on Facebook that I play because of that, kind of being a detective sleuth and stuff like that, because I like looking for clues. I even did reviews for a show here in the States, Scream, MTV Scream, and on Fox, Scream Queens and Scream. So those two shows, because I like looking for little things, and I always notice things more than other people because I'm looking everywhere. I'm looking at facial expressions. I'm looking at what I'm hearing, what they say, background items or and scenes. So I'm always visual and the kind of person in that way. So in that aspect, definitely always on my toes there, which is why as well I overanalyze things too. But still, having that aspect. Um, I'm actually gonna try some just for fun here, rapid fire general questions, getting to know you the person, especially getting to
Sure.
know your character. So do anything. Here we go. Favorite color, favorite movie, favorite TV show, and hobby that you like to do on your just a general hobby in your life.
Sure. Okay. Favorite color? Pink. I'd say. I like pink. It's an out there color, and I enjoy the color. It's cool. Did you say favorite movie?
Yes.
Movie. The first one.
Hmm?
The third question was
Favorite TV show was the third question.
favorite TV show. Oh, I'm not a big TV show guy. The Middle. Have you ever seen The Middle?
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah. That's over in the UK loads now. Though it's always on. Yeah, that's a real fun show. And favorite hobby. Uh, I like working out. Um, going to the gym. Also,
Ooh.
we have these gymnastics places where you can go. There's open sessions where we call them flip gyms, where they've got foam pits, big trampolines, and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I like that. And outdoors stuff. I've always liked being outdoors. I don't like being kept indoors watching a TV 24 hours, 7 days a week. I like getting out there and doing stuff.
Yeah, same here for sure. I mean, make you go crazy if you do that.
Yeah.
The mind really can wander. Um, but yeah, I guess for me to answer that question, my favorite color, red. I always like that, especially when I watch golf and stuff as well. Tiger Woods and his Power Red on Sundays in his tournaments. So I always liked red. Looked good on cars too, red. When I was in
Yeah.
the military and I was living in Hawaii, I was able to rent a Ford Mustang for a month and it was red. So that was kind of cool. But anyways, red
Nice.
would be my favorite color. Favorite TV show, I think would be a tie between The Big Bang Theory and Modern Family.
Oh, that was actually going to be my second choice. I do like Modern Family.
Favorite movie, The Godfather series, and if I had to pick one out of those, um, The Godfather 2. Favorite hobby,
Nice.
to be quite honest, doing puzzles and math problems. I can just, I know that might sound a little weird, but I like to randomly, just find math problems online, from calculus things or whatever. Or I do still have an old math book from my college days, and just whatever, close my eyes and pick kind of thing, Red Robin style, and pick a math problem and just do it whether I'm bored or just want something to do, and that's a hobby, entertaining to me, almost like a stress reliever as well because it's making your brain think of something else. So, and puzzles, they're just again
Sure.
a good soothing thing to do, and I even did a 3D puzzle when I was younger, a 3D puzzle of the United States Capitol building. Uh, so now it's got to the point that each year my family gets me puzzles for Christmas that try to get exponentially harder. More pieces, or double sided, or ones that you have excess pieces, so they're not all actually used, and you have to figure it out. Um, so different type of styles of jigsaw puzzles that I never even knew existed, just to try to
Awesome.
make me
Well,
make it harder on me and make it actually longer. Otherwise, I'd get them done in a couple of days. So
sure.
I think those two would be my
And if it's something that you enjoy and you're happy when you do it, then you just got to keep going. Just
yeah.
keep rolling with it, you know.
So those two would definitely be my hobbies and stuff. But yeah, definitely
Sure.
when I have my downtime, I definitely watch a lot of TV because there's a lot of shows that I like, newer or old and otherwise. But well, I should do it for my interview here. And first I want to let you share your Twitter handle, share where you can be found, and
Sure,
otherwise social media.
it's it's Alex Boxed. So Alex Boxed, and my name on there is just Axel Carter. Be a picture of me with my hands on my hips, looking very cross at the camera. I have Instagram as well, which is Axel Carter _. And if you type in Axel Carter Wrestler to Facebook, you should find my Facebook page easy enough. So and tweet me, Facebook me. I'm most active to respond on. Hit me up on there. I just recently did some. There was a Facebook account, not a Twitter account, asking me loads of questions. So it's just ask me questions, and I'll definitely get back to you. I like staying active on it, and people that tweet me keep me active on it. I know for a while I went fairly dead on there, and I didn't tweet for a while. There was nothing to tweet, but I'm back into it now. So, and I've got my YouTube channel. If you type in Axel Carter, you should be able to find me. But if not, you'll be able to find it through my Twitter or my Facebook.
As everybody feel free to follow, like I said, follow him, or like he says, follow him on Alex Box, ALEX BOXCD on Twitter, on his fan page as well, and on Instagram. For me, you can find me on Instagram at podcast host 316. I'm trying to be more active there. On Twitter at WWE_podcast, or my personal Twitter handle at Army_strong_06. The Facebook fan page, just type in Steve's Wrestling Ramble, and you'll be able to find it there. Thanks to everybody that watched live and will be watching archived. Like I said, reach out to both of us. Let us know what you thought of the interview. The comment section below. If you're new, welcome to subscribe to the channel. I do podcasts, Steve's Wrestling Ramble podcast specifically, each and every week, Thursday night, 8 p.m. hard start on this channel, same place, same time, with me and my team talking WWE. And this week, we'll be talking everything Elimination Chamber and also news and notes. There's a lot of news and notes during the week in professional wrestling and WWE. So as always, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy your evening, and as always, take care.